Hello and welcome to Sports Update on NC, Breakfast Central. And Arsenal fans are really happy, and I would have loved to have a conversation with Joe, but I'm sure we'll talk about that after the update. But let's talk about Gabonese striker Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who had a disappointing game against his former club Arsenal as the Blues suffered a 1-0 Premier League defeat on Sunday. The 33-year-old came up against his former employers as a lone striker but failed to find the back of the net. Now, the Gunners were the better side in the fixture at Stamford Bridge, but they were forced to wait until the second half to score what turned out to be the winner, courtesy Bukayo Saka. An in-swinging corner evaded the entire Chelsea defense before the defender, Gabriel Magalhaes, met the ball at the far post to beat Senegal goalkeeper Edouard Mendy. Ghana international Thomas Partey was the engine for the Gunners in the midfield as he produced 2 tackles, 2 interceptions and 3 clearances. He made a total of 56 passes, amounting to a 92.9 passing accuracy. His display will be good enough, and of course the good news for Ghana coach Otto Addo as they prepare to represent the African continent at the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. Senegal defender Kalidou Koulibaly and Morocco star Hakim Ziyech were dressed for action for Chelsea but did not come off the bench. And Arsenal and Egypt midfielder Mohamed Salah was introduced in the 86th minute for Odegaard. The win returned Arsenal to the top of the Premier League, moving them 2 points clear of Manchester City. Still talking about the English Premier League now, Egypt's Mohamed Salah made a match-winning contribution as he scored a brace in Liverpool's 2-1 win over Tottenham Hotspur on Sunday. The Egyptian provided a pair of outstanding first-half finishes in the Premier League contest that secured 3 points despite a response from Harry Kane after the break. The brace improved Salah's scoring record against Spurs to 8 in 12 appearances for the Reds in all competitions and ensured Jurgen Klopp's side followed up their 2-0 win over Napoli in midweek. Now, the win gives Liverpool a first top-flight away win of the campaign at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, moving into 8th position. Looking at the other results now, it was also a good time for Newcastle United as they got a 4-1 win over Southampton, and Aston Villa surprisingly dealt with Manchester United 3-1 with Unai Emery, his first game in charge of Aston Villa. And West Ham United lost at home to Crystal Palace 2-1. And with that, we see Arsenal still at the top of the log and Manchester City in second position, with Newcastle coming third, having won 4 games, their last 4 games, and a big performance for Newcastle United. And Spurs in 4th position, United in 5th position, and Brighton and Hove Albion in the 6th position. Running straight to the Spanish La Liga now. Yes, Gerard Piqué has said goodbye to Barcelona and they got a 2-0 win over the opponent, Almeria. And of course, for Gerard Piqué, a lot of fans, even from the Almeria side, they all said their goodbyes to the Barcelona legend. Atletico Madrid played out a 1-1 draw, and that's against Espanyol. Valencia played out a 1-1 draw with Sociedad. Villarreal lost at home to Mallorca 2-0, and Sevilla and Real Betis played out a 1-1 draw. And today, the champions Real Madrid will be in action in the Spanish La Liga. I'm running straight to the Italia Serie A, where Victor Osimhen seems to be lighting Italy. We saw Juventus defeat Inter Milan 2-0. Lazio beat Roma away from home 1-0. And for Fiorentina, they got a 2-0 away win against Sampdoria. Monza defeated Verona 2-0, and Bologna defeated Torino by 2-1. And running straight to Germany now, talking about the German Bundesliga. Bayer Leverkusen defeated Union Berlin 5-0, and Freiburg defeated FC Cologne by 2-0. All right, in France as well, still talking about the French Ligue 1 and talking football. Lorient lost to Paris Saint-Germain 2-1. Montpellier and Clermont Foot played out a 1-0 draw, and it was Nice defeating Brest by 1-0. Monaco got an away win, defeating Toulouse by 2-0, as Lille and Rennes played out a 1-0 draw, while Marseille defeated Lyon by 1-0. Running straight to the CAF Women's Champions League, Mamelodi Sundowns defeated TP Mazembe 4-0, and that's in Group B, while Nigerian club Bayelsa Queens defeated Wadi Degla by 3-0. And moving on to other sports now, talking about the marathon now. Kenyans Evans Shebei and Sharon Lokedi made huge splashes in their New York City Marathon debuts on Sunday. Shebei won the men's race and Lokedi the women's race in her first ever marathon on an unseasonable warm day, with the temperature making it one of the hottest in the race history since the marathon was moved to November in 1986. It was Lukedi's first ever marathon, and she finished in 2 hours, 23 minutes and 23 seconds ahead of Lona Chemtai of Israel. Now, Shebay finished in 2 hours, 8 minutes and 41 seconds, which was 13 seconds ahead of second place finisher Shura Kitata of Ethiopia. Shebay won the Boston Marathon earlier this year. And straight to MotoGP, Francesco Bagnaia claimed the MotoGP crown in the season-ending Valencia Grand Prix on Sunday to pull off the greatest title turnaround in the championship's history. The Ducati rider, who trailed outgoing champion Fabio Quartararo by 91 points mid-season, completed his astonishing comeback with a 9th place finish behind race winner Alex Rins. Bagnaia, the Moto2 champion in 2018, sealed his first MotoGP championship 17 points clear of Quartararo after a tense deciding leg of the 20-race season. The Italian's triumph sparked ecstatic celebration at the circuit, and in the square of his hometown, Chivasso turned Ducati red with flares and flags. Ducati's last World Championship came back in 2007, courtesy of Cassie Stoner. And that's a wrap on Sports Update on Breakfast Central. I am Udoka Njoku, and I would love to know how Joe feels after that weekend loss in the English Premier League.
I know you were prepared this morning. That's why, I mean, you were so bright and early. I mean, you were all ready to slice me up. But that's fine. I think kudos to Arsenal. Arsenal seems to be the team to beat this season, no doubt. But I hope they get a hang over it when they deal with Manchester City at the top. But they're topping the table.
They're topping the table now, right?
I mean, going into the final part of the season, hopefully they can remain there, because we do know what Arsenal does to all the Arsenal fans. Even Udoka, he knows. You are lifted up, and then you are slammed to the ground.
But, you know, we've been saying this for a while now. And Arsenal has been disappointing everyone, including Osaogi Ogbonwa especially. You know, Arsenal has been disappointing all of them. They've come to the top of the league. In fact, there are reports that Arsenal is the first club in Premier League history to win to win 3 successive matches back to back at the Stamford Bridge. Now, the question is, what next for Arsenal and for Chelsea, especially? It's not been too good for Chelsea. There have been people who have said that Chelsea's downfall started when they let Thomas go.
Thomas Tuchel, yeah.
And you know that the club, that all he needed was a little more time. Do you share same sentiments?
Yeah, of course. And talking about the new owner, Boli, I mean, he said he doesn't agree with the tactics of Thomas Tuchel, and they had a conversation before he finally took charge of Chelsea, and he said, look, you have to go. He needs to bring in his own guys. And remember, Graham Potter is American, and he brought him in, and Graham Potter decided to turn things around for Chelsea, but it's not really working the way the fans
I'm glad that you've brought Graham Potter up, because there are also people that have started seeing some Potter out tweets and Potter out conversations. Now, with the plan that Boli is having for Chelsea, the least they can do is make it to top 4. There are conversations that if Chelsea does not make it to top 4, then we are really going to see Graham Potter out.
Definitely.
First, do you see Chelsea making it to top 4 in this season?
Well,
and if they don't, do you think that would determine Graham Potter's career with the club?
You know, it's a difficult season. Seeing the likes of Brighton and Hove Albion and Newcastle United doing so well in England is going to be very difficult for teams that are struggling at the moment, the likes of Chelsea, Liverpool, and Tottenham Hotspur. Even for the likes of Arsenal and Manchester City, nothing is guaranteed. But for Chelsea, yes, there used to be a sacking club when Abramovich was in charge, when he was the owner of Chelsea. But now there's a new owner. We don't know his sentiments. We don't know his temperament when it comes to managerial positions if they don't perform well. So let's see what happens towards the end of the season, if he will be let go.
I'm glad I'm not given the floor to talk on Chelsea, but that's fine, because the time left will not be enough for me to actually dissect.
Can I just tell you something before we wrap up sports?
Go ahead.
Monday blues. You know, that sad feeling.
Drinking
Chelsea
the Chelsea
blues.
That's below the belt. Well done. Thanks to Udoka Njoku for joining us on a Monday morning.
Thank you.